Hey, veterans and families, it's Craig here from Royal Rock Counseling and Consulting, and welcome to our featured topic for the month of November: 30 VA claims in 30 days. And make sure to mark your calendars because on November the 11th, I'm going live right here on this channel to answer frequently asked questions about VA claims and conditions across the web. To make sure you're fully equipped, I'm going to offer two resources that I use with veterans every day. The first resource that I'm going to offer is the three-stage VA claim playbook, your step-by-step guide to understanding, organizing, and strengthening your claim. The second resource I'm offering for free is the Mental Status Examination Assessment Decision Tree. This tool is a simple but powerful tool to help you understand how mental health evaluations impact your claim. Together, these are the only two documents you'll need to successfully file and win your VA claim. So hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and don't miss a single day of this series. Now, let me remind you that the content in this series is for educational purposes only. It's not intended for legal, clinical, or medical advice, and there's no therapist or client relationship established. Royal Rock Counseling and Consulting LLC is not a VA accredited agent, attorney, or Veterans Service Organization, and it's not affiliated with the Department of Veterans Affairs. We do not prepare, present, or prosecute VA claims, but may provide administrative guidance and referrals to qualified professionals. Vets and families, I'm honored to walk with you through this process, helping you move from confusion to confidence. So let's get started. Today's video focuses on the condition in the VA rating musculoskeletal system, fibromyalgia. It is Diagnostic Code 5025. Let's give a brief definition of what fibromyalgia is so that if you are experiencing some of these conditions, some of these symptoms, you know exactly what to claim on your VA claim. Fibromyalgia or fibrositis is a chronic condition that causes widespread musculoskeletal pain, fatigue, sleep problems, and tender points throughout the body. Under VA law, it's rated under Diagnostic Code 5025, and it's especially common among Gulf War veterans and those with chronic fatigue syndrome. I was going to say earlier that if fibromyalgia is one of those things that you see here in the definition, if you've got sleep problems or some other issues, fibromyalgia is a good either secondary condition or a good condition if you're diagnosed with that you can have other secondary conditions for as well. So something to definitely take notice with regard to fibromyalgia. And so now we're going to take a look at VA rating and criteria and how the VA considers fibromyalgia on the rating scale. So at a 40% rating, this means that the veteran is in constant or nearly constant symptoms that are refractory to therapy. This is the maximum scheduler rating. For example, if you're experiencing daily persistent symptoms that don't respond well to treatment, you could be entitled to that 40% rating. Refractory to therapy, meaning not responding. 20% rating, symptoms are episodic, but they occur more than 1/3 of the time, often worsened by stress or overexertion. You know, the best way to track that and the best way to verify that is to make sure you keep a daily symptom log or a daily journal. I've got a video about that, the about how to keep your daily symptom log, how to keep your journal. I believe it's my evidence video where I actually give you a PDF that breaks down the daily symptom log and how to column it and what category to put it in and how often you should keep it in the frequency. So go to the channel, check that one out. It's most likely in the evidence video. And you can request a PDF on either one of those evidence videos because I did one some time ago and then I did one more recently. One was VA evidence and the other was building evidence for your claim. The 10% rating is that the veteran requires continuous medication for symptom control, meaning you can keep those symptoms at bay or under control, but you require continuous medication for them. And then the key definition when a CMP examiner is examining for Fibromyalgia is widespread pain must be present on both sides of the body, above and below the waist, affecting axial skeleton and extremities. So that's what they're looking for. If you look in the 38 CFR, they actually have those different particular measurements that they are looking at. Something definitely to be aware of with regard to fibromyalgia, they're going to be looking at specific elements at the 40, 20, and 10% rating. So let's take a look at some case law. I've got the citation number there. It is from the one of the BVA Board of Veterans Appeals cases, and the decision date was October 2nd, 2013. In this case, the veteran appealed for a rating above 40% and for separate ratings for knee, elbow, and shoulder pain. But the board held firm on this one, stating that his joint pain and headaches were manifestations of his fibromyalgia and not the distinct disabilities. Okay, so very key points from the board's findings. The veteran already held the maximum 40% scheduler rating. So 40% scheduler, already maximum at that point. Objective testing, x-rays, rheumatology consults did not confirm any other joint disease. Remember, we talked about making sure that you have those x-rays, because without that, particularly on a condition like this, it's less likely that they're going to rule in your favor for a higher scheduler rating. Extra scheduler consideration was denied due to lack of marked interference with employment or hospitalization. We've talked so much on this channel about interference with employment, TDIU. We talked about activities of daily living, functional impairment, all of those things, right? You've got to be able to show that, particularly if you're going to some of these higher levels of review and BVAs, you have to be able to show either hospitalization and incapacitation for a certain degree of time, or lack of the ability to attain and maintain employment. No separate ratings were granted because of pyramiding rules under 38 CFR 4.14, and I'm going to get to pyramiding rules in the next slide. And the takeaway is, if your symptoms like joint pain or headaches are all linked to fibromyalgia, the VA will not rate them separately unless there's a clearly diagnosed separate condition. We're going to talk about pyramiding rules in just a second, but these are some of the key findings from that particular case. There's no need to look at every case on fibromyalgia or knee or back or anything like that. You just need to look at one case, right? And you can look at one case that was denied, and you can try to find a case that was approved and for the rating, and see if your circumstance matches or is similar to that. And then that's when you would cite that particular case law. Okay, now pyramiding. Quick note, and I'm sure you've heard that term bandied about all around the web. I'm going to give you a quick, down and dirty, simple definition of what pyramiding is and how you should avoid it. Okay, so understand the pyramiding rule. All it states is that veterans cannot receive multiple disability ratings for the same symptom or condition, known as VA pyramiding, to prevent overcompensation. For example, knee pain from arthritis and limited motion counted only once. I'm going to tell you, we all watched that hearing recently, and um, I think it's an impetus, and I think watching that hearing and understanding what some of the sentiment is, at least from some circles in some corners, you should really make sure that whatever it is you're placing on these claims forms for these conditions are accurate. And the word I like to use is current, accurate, and complete. Be honest, have integrity about what you're dealing with, about the conditions that you're fighting through. Because again, depending on what types of changes they make, it's going to be much, much more difficult uh, to 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 get some of these claims through, or to get some of these claims approved, or to have a favorable decision, particularly if there's a sentiment that, oh, some of these veterans are trying to defraud the government. That all that means is they're just going to have a tighter view on what you submit. That's why I'm focused on making sure every veteran is submitting these claims in the right way, in a way that has integrity, and in a way that's current, accurate, and complete. Because that's the last thing you want. If somebody's already questioning the the centrality, or they're already questioning your motivation, you don't want to submit a sloppy claim. That's just going to make them think even more, oh, they're really trying to get over on the system, because they didn't even submit a claim that has all of the relevant information, no evidence or anything like that. Forms not filled out correctly. Don't shoot yourself in the foot that way. Understand this pyramiding rule. Don't try to get around it, because the VA has it in place to prevent overcompensation. Avoid pyramiding by documenting distinct symptoms. Check this out. To ensure accurate ratings, veterans should clearly document each condition and its unique symptoms. The VA must assign separate ratings only when symptoms are medically distinct. Don't try to claim every joint as a separate issue unless there's clear diagnostic evidence. For example, you have an x-ray or an MRI of an additional condition like arthritis. No pyramiding, because pyramiding is falls under that category of trying to circumvent the proper way to file a claim in the VA claims process. And because of all of the attention that these things are getting now, you don't want to draw attention to yourself. So that's just a quick note about pyramiding. Okay, just like I do in every other video that we do here at Royal Rock Wellness, Royal Rock Counseling and Consulting, I'm going to now provide evidentiary support strategy for post-service claim. This is what you should do if you believe you have symptoms related to fibromyalgia. You want to provide a statement of support a claim via Form 21 TAC 4138. We have heard of that form before, explaining how the condition affects daily function. We've heard that term before. Activities of daily living, daily function, functional impairment. Ask your spouse, coworker, or supervisor to write supporting letters documenting your fatigue, pain, and impact on employment or life. It could be spouses, coworkers, family, friends, anyone who knows you really well and who can write a creditable lay statement on your behalf. Environmental deployment triggers. If you are a Gulf War veteran, you may request a presumptive condition under 38 CFR, undiagnosed illness, which may include fibromyalgia. Again, this is a good claim to claim if you fall under 38 CFR 3.317 for undiagnosed illness. Fibromyalgia is a common claim that's filed under that particular code. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you want any more information about the subject of this series, be sure to check out the playlist right here. And remember, live royally and live well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.